I'm Duncan McLeod, editor of TechCentral, and this is the TCS Plus Technology Show, brought to you today by CallMiner. If you're new to these parts, please do subscribe to us on YouTube. The link to use is youtube.com/TechCentral, or you can find us in any podcasting app. Simply search TechCentral, one word, hit the subscribe button, and you'll never miss another episode. Now, we've got three great guests lined up for you today on today's episode of TCS Plus. First, I'd like to welcome back Frank Sherlock. Frank is Vice President of CallMiner International, and he's based in the UK. Frank, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again, Duncan. It's a pleasure to be on. I'm even more excited today because I know you're going to introduce our guest, but it's always nice when we can have a client based in South Africa that can talk about what they've been up to. So looking forward to the discussion, and back to you.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Frank. And those two executives are from the insurance company MiWay, which is a client of CallMiner's, and they are going to be telling us about how MiWay is using CallMiner technology to support their business operations. So I'd like to welcome Huzair Essop, who is Head of Business Process Innovation at the insurer, as well as Asif Mahomed-Hoosen, who is MiWay's lead interaction analyst. Welcome to both of you, and thanks for making the time.
Thanks, Duncan. Thanks, Frank. Thanks for the opportunity to be here today.
It would be remiss of me.
Thanks
Duncan,
very much, guys. Right,
Duncan. It would be remiss of me not to mention that MiWay, not only are they really great adopters and innovators with CallMiner and analytics, they were recently an award winner of our. We had our annual user conference in June, and MiWay and Uzi and Asif and team got an award for their innovation and use of analytics. So the award-winning MiWay.
Brilliant. Well, I look forward to hearing more about how you've deployed the technology and how MiWay is using it in this discussion. But Frank, I'm actually going to start the conversation with you today. Employee development is now top of many corporate agendas. Why is that the case, and how does technology such as conversion analytics, which is a big area of focus, obviously, for CallMiner, help organizations to lift their game?
Okay, so it's a really good question. Now, over the last few years, I think we've seen a lot of time and effort and money has been spent around digital transformation, CX, to try and push CX, improvement in self-service. A lot of this was accelerated, I think, during the COVID years. But my view is, I think we're moving now towards a new era, the era of employee experience. I think too little attention's been paid to employee experience. And let me just maybe quote from some of the analysts. I'm doing a speech in Amsterdam next week, and I was doing some research on what do the analysts say. So Gartner talk about connector managers, and a connector manager, very simply, is a manager that uses targeted and focused feedback to assess individual needs and development. And these connected managers can improve employee engagement by up to 40% and productivity by up to 26%. And then McKinsey did a study on engaged employees, and engaged employees deliver 8.5 times more likely to stay in the contact center in the first year of employment than disengaged employees, and they're 3 times more likely to feel empowered to resolve customer issues. So just think about that they're having the capability to have engaged and empowered employees. And where we fit in is, rather than provide dip sampling or randomly listening to calls, to take all of those conversations and allow our customers to use the insight that's gleaned from those conversations to have really targeted and focused feedback across all of these interactions. So, it's natural human nature, I think, Duncan, that if you feel that your employee is devoting time and effort to give you personalized and focused training and development to do a better job, you are going to be more engaged. So really that's what we do. We form that bridge to take the information that's being provided in these conversations to help improve the CX, but also use that to improve the employee experience and development as well.
Thanks, Frank. Well, Huzair, let me bring you in here and let's talk a little bit about MiWay and how you're using this technology in your contact center environments. Tell us a bit about how you're using conversation analytics internally to develop your workforce and improve the performance of your customer agents.
Thanks, Duncan. Yeah, it's been quite an experience to date, and technology continues to change the way we work. We've seen a migration or transition of certain roles with the implementation of conversation analytics. We started our journey with identifying, specific QA resources who were well acquainted with our business processes and worked on developing them into interaction analysts. Asif being one of them and currently the lead of that team. And it's a new role created as a result of implementing this technology, which actually didn't exist before. These analysts were trained initially by CallMiner and internally upskilled on how to use the tools available to them to effectively analyze, the interaction data being generated to deliver on business goals and requirements. And these skills continue to be critical in the success of our rollout. And we have dedicated analysts per business department that we service. It was crucial to bring our QA advisors along the journey too and manage the change associated with migrating from manually listening to calls to CallMiner doing the heavy lifting of analyzing thousands of calls at scale and leaving the QA advisors to review the results and find actionable insights. And those advisors have now moved more towards an analytics and coaching role. And while there may have been some initial hesitation of AI taking over their work, I think once they experience the power of the platform and the impact they can have by utilizing it, their engagement and productivity significantly increased. Ultimately, the efforts of all involved were to improve the agent performance and enhance customer experience. So I'll run through a couple of points on how conversation analytics enabled us to do so. Firstly, I think analyzing interactions at scale gave us a much broader and in-depth view of individual agent performance and opportunities, where we could improve as opposed to previous random call samples. Coaches are now able to easily decide which interactions as well as which parts of these interactions need their attention based on scores that are auto-generated by the analytics platform. The speed at which coaches can find actionable insights also meant that we were able to increase their productivity and provide more feedback for agent coaching and training. Team managers and trainers are able to provide more specific and targeted coaching and development personalized to each agent's performance to ensure our advisors are well equipped to serve our customers' needs and expectations. It's enabled us to merge, existing performance data with now additional interaction analytics data for a more holistic view of the agent's overall performance. It's also created visibility and competition when communicating analytics data dashboards to teams and departments to see where agents are ranked amongst each other. And certainly it's helped identify trends and patterns of our top performers to help coach those who aspire to be on the same level. Month on month, through the continued efforts of all stakeholders in the process, we're seeing changes in the focus areas and agent performance scores in each business department. And the more we know about our interactions, the more we realize there's still more to be found and understood.
I'd like to come back to you in a moment, Huzair, and talk about the ROI around an investment like this. But Frank, let me bring you back in here because I want to explore a little bit more about conversation analytics. How long has this technology been around for, and what are some of the common use cases for it?
So CallMiner were one of the pioneers of conversation analytics. So it's been around for 20 years or so as a technology. I think over the last 4 or 5 years, what we've seen with at the end of the day, when you have a conversation, you have to have good speech to text recognition technology in order to get accurate transcription. And obviously you then need to be able to do something using AI and machine learning with that transcription. So I think the last 4 or 5 years we've seen, better better speech recognition being generally available in the market in terms of both accuracy and language capability. And we've seen, obviously, in the last 18 months or so, a rapid rise in AI and open AI, conversational AI, etc. So, in short, technology's been around for 20 years, but we are now on an acceleration curve, I think, of the application of that technology. We as CallMiner, I think there's been, we've spoken already about, and thank you, Uzi, for that feedback about what you're doing in MiWay in terms of employee coaching, development, and training. That's definitely one of the use cases. Clearly, when you're able to analyze all of the interactions, many of our clients work in regulated industries. They have regulators that they're accountable for on complaints, vulnerability, sales process, etc. Having a holistic analysis allows you to get a much deeper, broader, and richer risk framework. So compliance is another area, but we're seeing more and more now use cases around. There's a lot of intelligence buried within these conversations about product sentiment, about brand sentiment. There's the ability to coach better outcomes for the business in terms of revenue collection or sales performance and sales conversion. There's competitor intelligence that you can glean from these conversations to feed to the marketing people. So I think that whilst conversational analytics started out as, if you like, a call center and agent improvement technology, more broadly now I think of it as a business performance improvement, taking that insight and making it useful across other areas of the business as well.
We're still in the very early days of artificial intelligence, but there's been a lot of hype around generative AI in the last year, and we use it quite extensively here at TechCentral already for image production and that sort of thing. But I can see the potential for AI in the conversation analytics space. Frank, how do you see this developing in the coming years? Do you expect AI will be able to ingest a lot of these conversations that are happening with clients and produce reports for management to give them insight into what's happening in their businesses?
Yeah, I mean, we've been using machine learning and AI in our product for a number of years, but one of the very recent use cases and adoptions we've done, because we transcribe a conversation and we have if you like, a transcript of the conversation along with some acoustics. The application of conversational AI is absolutely perfect because we've got conversations in the first place. So one of the things that you see in a lot of contact centers is you can have a long and complex conversation, and the agent, as well as navigating through that conversation, is expected to then produce the wrap-up notes, the after-call work, put some notes around the conversation, try to recollect it from memory. Now, what did we discuss 25 minutes ago? So the ability to use conversational AI to summarize that conversation for you is something we've just recently put to the market. And we're seeing huge benefits in terms of the reduction of wrap time, i.e. the agent hasn't got to spend all of that time doing the notes, the consistency of the notes, because technology isn't in itself subjective. So it will be very consistent in how the notes are populated and formed. But most importantly, in this part of this debate, is it frees up the employees to do more valuable work, more enriching work, more rather than spend time on wrap up and doing lots of notes. They're doing something more productive. So yeah, I mean that's one of the exciting things that we've done recently. And I see this developing further. The second part of your question, I see it developing further. I see us being able to use these conversations at scale, apply AI to it, automatically tell you what emerging trends, almost, it sounds a bit sci-fi, Uzi, but tell you what you don't know. Tell me what I don't know, yeah? And I've got hundreds of thousands of conversations taking place a day, and I'm applying AI, and I'm saying that the AI is telling me that there is a level of complaints that's up 5% against this particular product. I mean, I've got hundreds of products, but against this particular product in the retail outlet, that would allow then the retailer to take proactive measures to say, let's either stop that going to market, let's change what the setup is if it's a problem with the instructions, how to set up. So I just see it being massively useful for, if you like, predictive analysis based on holistic measurement and trends.
Help you build a better business. Huzair, it sounds like you can do just about anything with this technology, or the benefits of it are really limitless. But take me through how MiWay approached this project and how it defined success around it. How do you define and set out the business goals around implementing conversation analytics?
And, MiWay's clear strategic objectives, to ensure business-wide alignment. And the ability to execute on these objectives is dependent on the right combination of people, process, technology, and data. We have thousands of interactions on a daily basis, and every interaction is an abundant source of data. To learn more about serving our customers and implementing conversation analytics was key to unlocking that data at scale and gaining visibility, into our customer interactions. While CallMiner makes the data available, we've got dedicated analysts who collaborate very closely with their departments to establish how we're going to leverage that data and build scores that support the department goals in achieving our strategic objectives. And the scores that we prioritize and build on CallMiner are typically categorized into the following types of goals. Customer experience being right at the top of it. It's crucial in a service-related business as ours, and measuring customer effort as well as sentiment on particular journeys is key to getting the value, out of this platform and help guiding the business in terms of improvements and enhancements we need to make. Compliance is another, goal that is very key in the regulated, industry as ours, and ensuring all of the required terms, conditions are explained and understood, and that relevant scripts are followed, by advisors in various customer conversations. Operational efficiency is the next big one, and I think our interactions, and analyzing those interactions, give us good insight into processes that are perhaps have points of friction or opportunity for us to improve how we run particular processes to be more operationally efficient and ensure our customers experience a better level of service. And certainly not last, but certainly not least, is growth. I think in each of these conversations, there are opportunities to identify new customer needs and taking action on opportunities to provide services to both new customers onboarding as well as to existing customers to continue to grow our business. Key to achieving these goals and realizing these benefits for me were really broken down into three parts. To start with, it really takes an understanding of the analytics tool and how it can be leveraged to assist with business strategic objectives and department goals. But before you can even begin with that, it's important to understand what we know about our existing interactions, what metadata we have related to those interactions, and what customer journeys they might be associated with, and building scores relevant to the expectation of that interaction. So knowing what these interactions are related to and what we're looking for in them. But once built, and once these scores are created and generated, how do we analyze these findings and data output? Who do we communicate it with? But very importantly, what actions need to be taken by whom in order to improve the agent's capability, improve our service delivery and offering, and ultimately improve the customer experience in these interactions?
Thank you. Frank, let me bring you back in. This all sounds fantastic, but I imagine that actually deploying the stuff in the back end can be quite tricky and fairly complicated, not least because you are dealing with so many different channels these days when you're dealing with customers. It's not just a case of a customer phoning a call center and an agent having a conversation with that call center. That customer could start that interaction with a complaint on Twitter, for example, or on Facebook. They could then send an email. They may then get a phone call. So there are multiple channels and different ways in which companies engage with their clients, which makes managing this data, I imagine, quite difficult. And you end up possibly with different silos as well of data. How do companies get around this issue of disparate data? How do you take all of these channels and put them to profitable use at the end?
We don't. It's impossible. It's not impossible. But just before I answer that, just to relate what Uzi said in that last question, I think it's really important that analytics and technology can be wonderful, yeah, but it has to be aligned to a data strategy. Data itself has to be aligned to a data strategy, and what you do with that data has to be aligned to a business strategy. I can tell you with CallMiner and similar technologies, you can get wonderful insight, but if it's not useful for the business, it's not aligned to the strategy, if you don't know what you're going to do with the data, it's of not much use. So that's a fantastic answer that you gave there. In terms of, so let's think about multi-channel. You asked me about data and data silos, etc., etc. I think I always start, if I'm asked that sort of question, I always start, well, you're halfway there, because the good news is you've got the data already. It already exists. Yeah, the data that you need to transform your business, it's already there. You've already got it. What the bad news is that it exists in silos and it's not used. Well, one of the reasons it's not used is it's unstructured. So you need to use technology to structure and tag that data to make it meaningful. The other reason it's not used is because it's disparate. It sits in silos. It's hard to join it together. So companies like CallMiner, are able to take all of that data, be it from web chat, be it from email, be it from phone calls in terms of audios, be it from customer satisfaction surveys, and bring it all into one place. Now, when you've got it all in one place and you've applied the same structured data techniques against it, what you can do using metadata, the data that exists within those interactions, you can link the journey together. So you can say, what was it about, to take your example, Duncan, what was it about the tweet, that has led to a phone call? So why have you moved from a self-service low-cost channel into a high-cost channel? Is that a systemic issue? So one of the examples I often use is having a self-service payment website that suddenly you get a lot of calls into the contact center that are wanting to pay bills. The reason is because the self-service channel broke down. But if you're trying to analyze the data in silos, you'll miss that. But what you can do with data is to say, what was it about that interaction that led to it? Is that systemic? How often is it happening? And then go back and fix the friction points that cause the breakout into the high cost channel. So, and also I think another use of it is in the employee side as well. Now, we found that in this multi-channel world where you have multi-channel agents, some people are very skilled. Some people are naturally skilled at having conversations there in a synchronous mode of communication. Yeah, one channel each way. Others are much, much happier sitting on the keyboard and managing asynchronous conversations on web chat. I think it's so using technology, you can define where should you put your people skills that are going to best serve the customer. Don't expect someone who's great on the phone to be absolutely great on web chat. It may happen, yeah, but on occasions, but on most occasions, I think you can say that there are certainly people who sit better with communicating on one channel versus the other. And the same is absolutely true of the consumers as well. There's consumers who prefer different channels of communication. So to precede my answer, get the data together, use metadata to link it together, and then use analytics to make a determination as to what that data is actually telling you.
Huzair, out of interest, which channels does MiWay analyze and why?
So currently on the CallMiner platform, we are analyzing calls as well as chats, and those are key focus areas there. Voice has historically been and still is our largest volume of customer interaction, but we have a growing volume of chat via both our mobile app and a significant increase of chats via WhatsApp over the past sort of 18 months.
Okay.
The analytics really empowers us to better understand, how customers are thinking and feeling during these conversations with our advisors, and how well our products and services are meeting their expectations. Chats also tell us, how customers are experiencing our self-service digital channels, following customer journeys through our digital capability, understanding where the need for agent assistance is required, and to help identify opportunities of improvement and digital enhancement. We've seen a significant shift in customer preference towards WhatsApp chats, meeting the customer on the channel that they are comfortable with and available on in their own time to interact with us. And this has really led to our focus on enhancing our chatbot offering to assist with simple customer journeys, around-the-clock self-service capability, but still leverage live agent assistance where required.
We're required, yeah. Asif, I've left you in the background, but I want to bring you in here. I wanted to ask you a bit about how you're using this data internally at MiWay, and also how your analytics team takes this data and shares the insights between different departments internally. Maybe take us through those processes and how you're using this data exactly.
Yeah, thanks, Duncan. I think firstly we have a dedicated analyst at MiWay that is responsible for scaling speech analytics or conversation analytics within their respective departments. These analysts originally came from these departments, as Uzi mentioned, and were upskilled and became analysts. So they are familiar with the area, and they also understand the processes from that area. So the analysts, together with their departments, discuss conversation analytics strategies as well as roadmaps, and I think this form part of the analyst priorities. These analysts also sit together in a team and work together. So they collaborate daily, regarding business-wide priorities as well as departmental priorities, and share ideas and insights. We also have dedicated head coaches who act as a bridge between the analytics team and their respective departments. This ensures that effective communication and understanding of insights are passed across to the coaches, the training department, the managers, etc. They also have tailor-made reports. So the analytics team have customized reports and dashboards for different departments. These reports highlight relevant scores, trends, insights to each department's goal, and responsibilities. We also have a global view, a global dashboard that compares performances across departments. These reports are also very easily accessible online. They also refresh daily, so team managers have updated data. They can track and monitor improvements. Team managers also distribute this data to the advisors. The analyst also prepares, I think, monthly and quarterly reporting. So we also schedule monthly meetings where we share these reports and findings with departments, and discuss specific stats, insights, scores, as well as address pain points. So in our quarterly reports, these are shared with all departments, as well as all the heads of these departments. And this is where all departments share their feedback and showcase instances where insights from analytics have led to positive outcomes, So I think, by leveraging conversation analytics through our dedicated analyst and cross-departmental collaboration and tailored reporting, I think this fosters a culture of continuous improvement and highlights the positive outcome of using conversation analytics. The structured approach not only enhances departmental performance, but also highlights MiWay's dedication to harness the power of data for strategic benefit.
So it really sounds like MiWay is not only taking this data that it's getting, but actually putting it to good use, and you're actually ensuring that there's follow-up inside the organization to make sure that the departments that are affected by this and who need to action it are actually doing so. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Great.
I think to answer your question there in more detail, I think once the analysts have built these scores that require monitoring, we have head coaches who review the scores and analytics from CallMiner and verify the accuracy of the findings, and scores and analyzed based on department strategy and priority. The coaches in each department provide feedback and comments together with recommendations of the type of corrective action, that needs to be taken. These type of feedback we refer to as insights. We also send insights to commend good performances. These insights are also sent directly to the team managers of the advisor that's being audited or analyzed. And each insight has a due date, which indicates to the manager when the coaches would need feedback by. So team managers have regular coaching sessions with their advisors, and in these sessions, they will review insights and findings together with the advisors. Team managers then conduct coaching and training and then provide feedback of the corrective action taken. Coaches then, I think, review and discuss this action taken by the team managers with the relevant advisors. And this data forms part of our reporting that we discussed earlier, which is shared with team managers and heads of departments. And with this data, we can also monitor the coaches' performance. We monitor team member performance as well and compare them across departments and to each other. And we also monitor the improvement by the advisors through coaching and insights. Team managers also make recommendations by using these reports to provide specialized training through internal learning and development programs. And I think we have found that corrective action needs to be guided by transparency and constant collaboration, and I think this ensures our continuous improvement and success. Yeah.
Fantastic. Huzair, any final closing thoughts from your side?
Yeah, look, it's been an incredible journey to date. I mean, we've certainly learned a lot in the implementation and adoption across the business of analytics, but I think there's still a long road ahead of us, and we look forward to what lies ahead, both in terms of the business and its plans to continue to implement and scale out the use of analytics across the business, but also where the technology will go and what new features and functionality the platform will bring to us, and how humans and AI together continue to change the way we work and also how we deliver products and services to our customers. So very excited for what lies ahead.
And Frank, any final thoughts from your side around MiWay and how they're using this technology and how other companies could potentially benefit from it?
I think there is. I think Asif and Huzair have spelled out precisely one of the things that I had in my head for this conversation. That technology is great. Conversational analytics is fantastic. What it does is it provides actionable insight, but without a process, without communication, without having people trained in how to use it effectively, without sharing it across the business, it just is data. At the end of the day, unless you take action on the insight and have a framework in your business, it's just converting unstructured data into structured data and no more than that. So the way that MiWay have gone about this, Asif talked about having their analyst or from within the business. People who understand the business can understand how to address the business challenges and problems. Yeah. So, and it helps with their career development. Having effective lines of communication cross-departmental, ensuring that you're doing the right things, you're focusing on the right issues. So, I think that without blowing Uzi's and Asif's heads too much, the way they've gone about structuring how to use technology within a complex business that's highly regulated, ever-changing, and highly competitive is a first-class example of how to go about making sure a program's a success.
Thank you so much to all of you for joining me on the show today. It's a great conversation and a great case study of how conversation analytics is being used in business. Frank Sherlock is Vice President of CallMiner International. Let me get your other titles right. Huzair Essop is Head of Business Process Innovation at MiWay. And Asif Mahomed-Hoosen is MiWay's Lead Interaction Analyst. Thank you, all three of you, for sharing your insights with the TechCentral audience today. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Duncan.